Hi, everyone. This is Christina Leo, and welcome to the third episode of Electric Vitality Unplugged. And I'm very excited about doing this whole series. As I prepare the materials, I'm very excited to not only learn the material, but what the materials could help you in attaining a better health. So let me just go ahead and get started sharing my slide. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let me just start from the beginning with my slide. Okay, so again, welcome to the third episode of my health series. And today's topic is called the power of antioxidants. And for those of you that are familiar with antioxidants, I hope this will be helpful for you to make that connection in understanding it to and how it relates to negative ions. Okay. So before I get started, as a general disclaimer, as the videos are being shared with others, I just want to highlight the disclaimer on the information that is being shared. It's really designed to educate the public on general health topics. So nothing in the content should be considered or used as a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treating any health conditions. So I highly advise you to always consult with your own medical or healthcare provider for your own specific health issues. And as a total transparency, I am an authorized independent distributor of Neffel USA. So let me get started to the presentation. As I mentioned, today is the third of the series, and it will be focusing on antioxidant benefits. And a little bit about myself.
Christine,
Yes?
is it okay that everything you're saying is being typed?
Oh, yeah, it's like caption. I think it's
Yeah.
okay. We'll leave it
Okay.
at that.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Maybe I don't need to do captioning separately. Thank you for pointing that out.
Okay.
Okay, so a little bit about me. I am a marketing leader or at the AGM level with Neffel USA. And I am also a meditation instructor. As a matter of fact, I also manage a meditation center locally for one of the our national meditation organization. I was also a former CPA with an MBA, so you know that I have a finance accounting background, so I'm very sensitive to numbers, and I have worked in accounting and finance for many years. And when my kids were little, I actually quit my full-time job, became a consultant, and then subsequently changed my career directions completely so that I could have the flexibility to stay home with my kids. And I started a small business with selling stuff online. And during that time, before I embark on my own business, I had a whole host of health issues, many of which stem from my profession, where I sat for long periods of time in front of computer. So I had migraine and vertigo, as well as pretty much lifelong allergy issues. And it was when I came in touch with negative ion antioxidant products, that completely helped me overcome these chronic health conditions over a span of 3 to 6 months. That's when I started really had taken an interest in how there are so many different alternative and natural health modalities out there, actually, that has been around for possibly thousands of years that I never really pay attention to until I had taken the responsibility about my health. And subsequently, over the past 15 years, I've taken it upon myself to educate myself about the benefit of negative ions as well as other health modalities. And currently, I'm working on pursuing a PhD in natural medicine so that I can accomplish my mission of sharing what I have learned and what I will learn in my pursuit to enable and empower others to lead a healthy and very, very long life. So let's get right into today's topic, which is antioxidants. So here's the question. What are antioxidants? So if you kind of think about it, you probably have heard it a lot, especially when it comes to maintaining good health. Good diet is to take in lots of healthy berries, especially berries, because they're full of antioxidants. So, pictures like um, in there, with the lady holding the bowl of raspberry, blueberry, those are all the things that I love. And um, berries has one of the highest content of antioxidants. So let's define what really is an antioxidant. It is really atoms or molecules that can help neutralize free radicals. And I had introduced free radical in the last couple of episodes, so I will rehash again. So free radicals are unstable and highly reactive atoms or molecules with unpaired electrons. So we'll talk about free radical a little bit more in a bit. So there are different types of antioxidants. So vitamin C and E has very high antioxidant level. Minerals such as zinc, selenium, or plant compounds also have high levels of antioxidants. So the different sources of antioxidants, as I had mentioned, are fruits, berries, citrus fruits, apple, grapes, vegetable. I love vegetables, leafy greens, carrot, bell peppers, tomatoes, nuts and seeds. I know some people have allergies to nuts, so you might want to be cautious in incorporating this, but almonds, walnuts, and sunflower seeds have very high antioxidant as well. Whole grain, brown rice, quinoa, and and oats. Okay. So beverages, green tea, coffee, red wine also has fairly high levels of antioxidants. So how does antioxidant really work? So when I said antioxidant, for those of you that are familiar with negative ions, you probably is starting to make the connection when I define what antioxidant is. So how antioxidants work is that it protects the body from oxidative stress by neutralizing free radicals. So they donate an electron to the free radicals without becoming unstable themselves, therefore stopping the chain reaction of free radical damage. So this in turn helps protect cells and tissues from oxidative damage and support our overall health. Okay, so antioxidant is really important as part of our health regimen. So I've shown this slide before on the difference between antioxidants and free radicals. So free radicals are atoms or molecules lacking an electron. And in order for it to stabilize itself, it's going to need to take from other atoms or molecules. Therefore, free radicals is an electron taker. And another term for it is positive ion. So you can see on the bottom and the picture in the red, that's what the free radical is. It's missing an electron. So antioxidant, on the other hand, has extra electrons to give. So it is an electron giver, and another name for it is voila, negative ions. So you can see on the top picture where the free radical is the little devilish looking thing in the middle, and it's just trying to take from a balanced atom. And then when it does that, that atom is going to start that chain reaction and become a free radical itself. But if you look at the antioxidant with the cool sunglasses coming in and he has that extra electron and say, hey, take it from here. No need to grab it from somebody else. So that's why antioxidant is the best antidote to free radicals. So free radical damage, which is called oxidative stress, it's most obvious if you look at this picture of this woman with the nice young looking skin, and as she ages, you can start to see the wrinkle around her face and her hands too. So that's what free radical can do to us. So in an obvious example is the aging process. We are being oxidized on a day-to-day basis, and the result of that oxidation is that we start to exhibit symptoms, not symptoms, but appearances of aging, where our cells are starting to get damaged. And a very obvious example is taking an apple, cutting it, and then over time it will just turn brown. And that's because it's being oxidized by air. So last week I showed a video, and that video actually is copyrighted, so it might not show appropriately in some regions. I did take out the audio because the audio is in Japanese, and this so the basically you know, the video is meant for you to read the caption. So there was the rat experiment, and then there was the second experiment, which is Dr. Horiguchi's 4-year experiment with 2 metal bar. So he encased these 2 metal bars, iron bars, I think in the cases, and you can see in the picture here. On the left is it's, even though it's in the case, but it is open with constant exposure to air. And the bar on the right is isolated, but it has a constant exposure to negative ions. So this is done over a span of 4 years. So you can see that, so the idea is that is to test to see how oxidation affects these metals. And you can see on the bottom left picture, over time, it starts to get rusty. And most of us, we are aware that if we were to have anything metal outside, it will turn, you know, just in air over time, it will turn rusty. And look at the bar on the metal bar on the right. It's really amazing. Look how smooth and shiny it is, with the constant exposure to negative ions. So the conclusion from Dr. Horiguchi, who is the eminent negative ion study expert in Japan, he says that oxidation makes iron and metal rust. Likewise, the human body gets sick when it gets oxidized. So as iron and metal don't get rusty when they are constantly exposed to negative ions, the human body can also get healthy and live longer. So I think that it's again, eye-opening experiment that kind of give us an insight into how constant exposure to negative ion, which is antioxidant, what it can help our body do, which is combat the constant free radical damage. So benefits of antioxidants are disease prevention. When I did the presentation on last week, I share kind of a statistic that show how the leading causes of death in the US is heart diseases and cancer. So in a room, let's say there's 10 of us, 4 of us will die from heart diseases or cancer. So disease prevention is really the important key, and that's what antioxidants can help benefit. And it also boosts up our immune system and make our body stronger, helps with our skin health, our eye health, and very importantly is that it's anti-inflammatory. There's a lot of talks about inflammation of the body that leads to a whole host of health conditions. And it has a direct correlation with free radical damage to the body. So here are some practical tips to increase antioxidants. One is food. As I mentioned, fruits and vegetables are loaded with antioxidants. So it's best to minimize processing of these healthy fruits and vegetables and store them properly so that they're not easily oxidized by exposure to air. So when we talk about minimal processing is, you know, try to eat them as live food. What's important for us actually in consumption is not to eat dead food, but to eat live food. So healthy fruits and vegetable are live food, and they're water based. They're not based off something that's chemical, right? So imagine you eating something that is alive and then healthy, undamaged. It has all the vitamins and enzymes that's undamaged. So when we consume into our body, we basically transfer that wonderful energy in from what you're consuming into our body and helps it does all those wonderful things. And then when we cook vegetables, right, you want to minimize the high heat. So low heat to just gently cook it without overly damaging the food is also important. If you're not consuming enough of fruits and vegetables, sometimes vitamin C and vitamin E supplements may be helpful. And again, these are something that you should make sure to consult with your healthcare advisor in terms of what your body might need. And last but not least, actually, is having exposure to negative ions, air, okay, exposure to air, exposure to ionized water, and one of the best thing is clothing and bedding. So when we say exposure to air, negative ion air is to do things more outdoor, go to natural environment where there's plenty of trees, plenty of water movement, because the movement of water creates lots of negative ions. Water, ionized water contains, high, basically, high levels of negative ions. So when you consume it, it also gives you that benefit. So the clothing and bedding is a lot less familiar to most of the world, actually, even though it's been around for decades, 6, 7 decades since invention of the first generation fiber. So the current fiber that is exclusive to Nephil, it's called Neuron. And this negative ion fiber is not easy to produce. But then once complete and made into fiber, it's able to, through friction with the skin, generate significant enough of negative static electricity and negative ion, just basically through friction. So when we wear on our skin, just through, our movement, it will generate negative ions. So how it does it first generate negative static electricity, and because it has such a great propensity to do that, it's generally significant enough that the fabric actually kind of becomes saturated with negative static electricity. So electrons will actually kind of get kicked out from the fiber. So when it does that, it combines with oxygen in the air, and then it quickly becomes negative ion. So then we would breathe it in, and then within close enough proximity, it will actually be absorbed into our skin, because our skin is the largest organ of our body, and we actually can take in 85% through skin and 15% through breathing. So once it goes into our body, it travels through the meridians, the acupuncture points, and I had mentioned about our electrical body. So it will go to work and it actually charges every single cell in our body up. Um, Last week's episode, I talked about how voltage is necessary for all the cells. So this is a very important concept to keep in mind. So to the extent that we can supply energy to our body through the food we consume, through the clothing and bedding that we use, the better it is to reduce free radical damage and slow down aging process. So the Nephil's product line includes the best series, which is the bedding, which has the highest concentration and density of negative ions, plus all the different types of clothing, from innerwear to outerwear to joint supporters, socks, and accessories. All of these are meant to provide a certain level of negative ion to our body. So the more you can layer, the more you can kind of accumulate the negative ion, and then the more kind of like power that you have to combat free radicals within your body and around you. So so the negative ion has a whole host of health benefits. So it could purify the blood by regulating the blood pH balance and stimulate circulation. It can regulate the autonomic nervous system to reduce tension and stress. And it can also enhance the body's immune system by strengthening the cells and boost those cells in our immuno cells. Okay. So last but not least is really it help rejuvenate the cells by stimulating the cell metabolism. So each of these area is actually a topic in itself. And what I plan on doing in the future is to have a specific episode relating to each of these areas so that you can appreciate and understand what is actually doing for our body. So this chart I had shown, I think maybe once, but it just kind of bring it back to the pH, the idea of a pH, because fruits and vegetable are highly alkaline, most of them, okay? So it varies by the different types of fruits and vegetables. So we have to kind of think that the pH actually relate to our electrical voltage in our body. So antioxidant is an electron giver. So electron giver tend to be alkaline. And then free radicals are electron takers. So they tend to be free radicals. Okay. So what we want to do is continue um, in um, in our effort to stay healthy is our blood pH. The optimal is 735 to 745. And at that level of pH balance, our cell actually will be minus 20 millivolt to minus 25 millivolts. So when we consume enough antioxidants, it helps our body stay mildly alkaline. It's not easy to alter the alkalinity of the body, but then we can do things to help the body maintain that level of balance. So I had mentioned about Healing is Voltage by Dr. Tennant before, and in one of his quotes is he says, "Alkalize or die means you must have electrons available to do work to do work, or your cells will die." And then the other thing is all diseases occur when you are acidic, which means all diseases occur when your voltage is low or in electron stealer state. So what we want to do is make sure we have enough antioxidant, aka negative ions, through either the food we consume or through the clothing and the bedding that we use. So we are constantly supplying the voltage necessary for our body to help our body stay in a healthy state, and the cells, the atoms and molecules within the cells doesn't become electron takers, but instead electron givers. And then so whenever your body needs that extra electron, it has that electrons to give. Okay, so I will leave that as the final slide, and that wrap up my my presentation today on episode 3 on antioxidants and their wonderful and amazing benefits. Okay, so I will stop sharing now and see if anyone has any questions. Glad to see Ellen and Shelley on the call as well. Does anyone have any questions? Hi, Ellen. Did you have a question?
No, very great presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Shelley, how about you?
I'm outside.
Oh, you're outside? Okay, that's okay. No worries. Okay. How about you, Bernie? Did you have any questions? Oh, you're muted, but it's okay.
Not at the moment. You know me, I've listened to this so many times.
Okay.
You learn something new every time.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. So if there are no questions, I will wrap it up. And I promise to always keep it in the future at about no more than half an hour, so that when you replay that it's, it's the best use of your time. And the other thing is starting in August, I will change the time to 5 o'clock West Coast time, Pacific time. So it'll be 5 to 5:30 every Saturdays. But the flyer will come out. So then if you're interested in following the series, you can be on the call. If you're on the call, you could ask question. but if you're on the replay, then unfortunately I won't be there to answer your questions. You have to get on the call to ask. Okay. So I appreciate you all being on the call today. I think it's amazing what we have in our hands to help us stay healthy. So we are all truly blessed to come across this amazing product that keep us healthy. So keep those antioxidant level up in your body, okay, through different means, and stay healthy. And I wish you all a wonderful rest of the weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.